Hey everyone, Rascal here, and today I'm reviewing the really underrated animated film, Igor. Now, I know that me and Mama Entertainment have covered this before on a Paul's Animation channel, which by the way you should subscribe to when you have a chance. I really wanted to do another review covering it because I consider it a very underrated and or overlooked film because, well, not letting people talk about it. And when they do, it just says you don't remember the movie. Even though someone clearly has to in order to talk about the film, but it seems to be considered a forgetful film. And personally, I have to disagree. I think Igor is just a really fun, really misunderstood film. Now, I know it's not up there with The Nightmare Before Christmas or whatever your favorite horror movie is, like Halloween, Friday the 13th, or Alien, or what have you. And it's not a huge classic like the Peanuts, it's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, again, Nightmare Before Christmas, The Book of Life, Coco, and there are plenty of movies out there that really raise the bar for these type of themed films, and they put their all into it, and they end up becoming really big blockbuster hits. And nothing's wrong with these other films. I think they're fantastic, and each of them are great in their own right. But it seems like Igor was not considered a really big film. And it's kind of hard to see why, because I thought the film was funny. I don't know if it was just considered unfunny or unpopular or what, or they just didn't have enough advertisement for it. It made a decent amount of money, but it didn't seem to have a lot of commercials for it, so it looks like not as many people went to see it as they thought would. So we had to go find this movie actually not once but twice, because I had seen this movie years ago as a kid with one of my friends when we were doing summer work, and he showed this movie to me and I immediately loved it. It was just hilarious. I thought it was a million laughs. I loved how they kind of turned all the horror things on their head with the story of Frankenstein, and I just found it to be a really entertaining movie. Years later, I got to show Mama Entertainment this movie not once but twice, and there goes why we covered it on our Paul's Animation channel. Now, the story for this movie is about, as the title says, an Igor, and apparently instead of the movie talking about Frankenstein or whatever parody of Frankenstein the movies usually have, this one decides to focus on the assistant Igor, and this Igor tends to dream about becoming a mad scientist himself. He pretends to be an idiot lackey for the doctor so he'll have work, but he's really a genius and he's working on making his own inventions. And they had this thing called the Mad Science Fair, and yes, it is exactly what it sounds like, a mad science fair, and these different mad scientists all over this really dreary looking town compete to have the best looking creature or robot or creation that they make in the lab. So pretty much everyone has taken the Frankenstein aspect and turned it into something profitable or an entertainment value. And due to some very strange accidents, his doctor ends up kind of biting it, and Igor ends up stepping up to create his own monster. And here he takes the role of Frankenstein wants to create life, and he does succeed, but something goes wrong in terms of giving the monster a brain or personality. Now, you know in the movie what happened with Frankenstein, but in here he doesn't create Frankenstein's monster. He creates actually a female sort of Sally inspired monster, but she can't really interact or anything. So he sends her to this literal brainwash place where it'll program her with a personality and what to do, and he wants her to be a terrifying monster destruction machine. And a mishap happens, and she ends up seeing all these classic films and theatrical performances and plays, and when she comes out she thinks she's an actress, and it completely dismantles what he was building, and it's hilarious. So then the trick is to make her think that her becoming the monster is a role, and she has to get into character. And it's the most hilarious thing throughout the whole film is that she takes everything as an actress seriously, and she really thinks she's performing. And I really love how they set up everything to be like this is all a play and this is all a movie, and it's really hilarious how they set it all up. Overall, the film is fantastic. I really enjoyed it personally from start to finish. I don't know how many people have heard about this or talk about it, but I really think it deserves more attention. I didn't think it was a bad film at all, and it had a pretty big starring cast. Like, they had Joan Cusack, they had Steve Bushcemi, they had Shannon, among others. They had quite a few stars in here. Oh, even John Cleese was in here. It was a pretty big cavalcade of stars, but it didn't seem to get a lot of people's attention, which is odd because considering these are some really beloved actors. Now, again, I personally loved the movie. I even asked if people had seen it because it's pretty much one of my favorite films. And I even think about doing a spoof of it in the future because it's just a really fun, really creative movie. And I really like movies that are done in the style of like Tim Burton, like they were making fun of the Tim Burton films and the classic monster movies of old, not just Universal Pictures, but just how the structure goes in general. The only thing that probably would have made it even better if they put the whole film in black and white. But for here, I really like how they sort of made a twist on the bringing the monster to life trope. Instead of the doctor is the assistant, instead of the monster being scary, she's friendly and has to perform being scary. I love all the shouts to the old monster movies and the Tim Burton and these types of films. I thought it was like they did a really great job in every aspect. The music choices even kept it to where it felt like you were watching an older film. They even had Mel Brooks do a parody song. When you listen to it at some point in the film, you'll know when you hear it. It's absolutely hilarious. And I personally really love this movie, and I really want to give it some more attention because I love to find some underappreciated films and shows and give them some spotlight. And that's pretty much why I create the Underdogs. They're full of the characters that are underrated or not well known, or stuff that I personally love and grew up with and want to give attention to with my teams and my spoofs. So for Igor, I give it 5 stars. I think it's pretty much one of my favorite movies ever. I think you would definitely absolutely love it, especially if you love monster films or parodies of monster films. You won't regret watching it. You will absolutely love it. So if you have seen Igor, let me know what you think of it in the comments below. And if you haven't seen Igor, please go give it a watch. I think it's still available on Netflix. It's available on YouTube for free. I don't know for how much longer, but it's on there. And you can, if you have seen it, then let me know, did you love it too? Did you just like it, thought it was okay, or did you really not care for it like some other people seem to claim in reviews? Just let me know all your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Later!